Hello and welcome to another video on how to become a business consultant freelancer. So in today's video, I'm going to focus is on the section 4 and finally the section 5, developing your personal brand as a freelance consultant. So over the past couple videos and weeks, I went through the several modules from this course made by Paul Mendes, where here in the section 1 it describes as the fundamentals. Uh, for example, what are the tasks that a consulting does, how consulting success looks like, that you have cash flow, flexibility, and the security, as well as how to earn the most from your consulting. Identify the type of projects that you want to work as a consultant, whether it's a strategic improvement or implementation, or perhaps all of them, as well as some tips to improve your productivity, such as time blocking, avoid distractions, avoid blocking or block distracting websites, as well as the find a way to get you into the zone, stick to your calendar, and don't forget to take breaks, right? Also, it's useful to organize your desk, which is something that I'm going to schedule here. So, putting in practice everything that I've learned so far. Oops. Okay, this is my alarm. Okay. So, putting in practice everything that I have learned so far in real time. Okay. So, I got this. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is actually today is dedicate time to organize bet in this case. Okay, cool. So I also look when it comes to decision making, do the things that are important and urgent today, the things that are important but not urgent, schedule the things that are urgent but not important, delegate, and ultimately, is that not important and urgent? Don't even think about it. So this is the Eisenhower matrix when it comes to decision making. And the second part is on getting started as a freelance consulting career, or as a freelance consultant, is to first identify your strengths and weakness. Your strength is anything that you have experienced, you are excel at, or you have interest, as well as identify the type of working style, whether it's one-on-one consultation or a training and teaching, as well as specialized servers. So it also is important to protect your business at all costs. So with that, okay, so once you know what working, so when you identify your strengths and weakness, so you capitalize on your strengths, so you know the working style you want to go with at the beginning, and then you can scale or move on down the line, and you do everything you can to protect your business. Now it is time to choose a niche, identify what are the mistakes to avoid when choosing a niche, that you're going to start with a niche forever, that you're targeting multiple niche at once at the beginner, you're copying others, or you're not thinking it through. Then you establish yourself with a, or you align yourself with an established platform, okay, uh, by doing reverse engineering of what are the things that are in that niche, and then uh, try to avoid some mistake when choosing a platform, that you go with a platform that It's not in demand, or you're targeting multiple platforms at once, or you go with a platform that you don't know, that you don't want, or you don't enjoy using it, and then you create your offer. You create your value statements. Remember that the client is paying is for the value you provide, not how many hours you put in. Okay, and from there, okay, well, now uh, it is time to you to then identify the scope of the work and price your service, whether it's hourly or in a retainer way. The holy grail of all business is to have recurring clients. So then I look at the value ladder, which so a great offer is not only a single offering. In fact, it's a value ladder of offering. Okay. Uh, and remember to create a service agreement, because that will make you look like much more professional. So with that, okay, with all of that, the value statement as well as uh, the creating your service agreement. Okay, key areas on that service agreement is the project overview, the project timeline, the scope of the work, the terms and terminations, the compensation, as well as the agreement. So once you know all of this, so once you know the fundamental, and also how to get started as a freelance consulting, now it is time to put at practice to get real feedback from the market. And that is, well, how to find and land and pay consulting clients. So first, uh, there are some couple mistakes to avoid that you're starting to build in your portfolio, running pay ads, or not focusing on your skills. Remember that after all, the client, what is going to use is your reputation, your past experience to decide if they want to work with you, which is exactly the case with this current client that I have. So when it comes to now land or find and land additional new clients, or clients that are where you are new into that field, well, remember that treat them as your trial clients, meaning that you have to be transparent with the client that even though that you're new to the field, uh, you are promoter. Your focus is on providing outcomes to build your image as a consultant. It is important to also adjust your price at the beginning, so while also reach to some mutual beneficial agreement. Okay, so even though, what are the places where you can find high-paying consulting clients? It can be existing online platform, or it can be existing on-demand platforms like Upwork that connect freelancers with clients, uh, or Fiverr, freelancers, as well as your existing networks. That's highly contextual and highly dependent. But even though it actually works, it is important here to use something called CRM to keep track every interaction that you're having with your potential client, right? Because Upwork or all of those platforms, they already do that for you. But if you're not, if you go with your existing network, then you need to use something to keep track that, because at the end of the day, what you're doing is just developing long-term business relationship. Okay, all right. So with all of that, okay, then uh, I also look at some consulting tips that help you to stand up, like show your face, and remember that this is a numbers game. ask yourself what I'm doing today, and am I putting myself in the best possible position to move forward? So I also look at some consultation sell tips to help you land more additional clients, and that is be an active listener, use speed, use the solution selling process, as well as the add free value, which is something that I do with the current client that I'm working in. Okay, so with this solution selling process specifically, it describes is the process of how you can identify your prospect or sell lead until you reach to some offer, right? So first, do the prospect journey. Okay, so diagnose or find where your right client is. Try to get in front of them to get their attention, and then you qualify them. So once you look at all of these clients and different prospects, okay, and then you're figuring out which one of them is a good fit for you. And this is all about asking the right questions uh, to see what are the client expectations are. And then if the client agreed to move on, then you can do is the a demon discovery call. This is to do even more fact findings about the client expectation and if they're gonna work with you, or you can ask yourself, hey, or you can ask the client, hey, can we move on with this, or if this is gonna end right there, so I can move on to another project. And if the client ask you, hey, send me some information about it. All right. Now this is when you send a proposal and add value, okay? Where you outline all of the different options that they can go with and use all of your past experience for that. So the whole point of this solution selling process is to diagnose the prospect needs or opportunity and then recommend the right product and service to solve the challenge that they have. Okay, so when it comes to the client that pop up with some objections, most of the time can be boiled down into time, budget, and money. So once you know that, it also is important to secure the payment or know how to handle the client payment. So by get the service agreement signed, secure the payment methods, and then is when you start to provide your service. Okay, so place like freelance, Upwork, or Fiverr, they automatically generate invoice for you. Whereas if you want to issue or emit personal invoice, you can go with PayPal, QuickBooks, or Soho Books, right? And it's important to get serious about money because you don't want to get ripped off by the market. So once you know how to find and land a paying consulting client, you send the service agreement, you secure the payment, you get the service agreement signed, you're starting to provide value, gain traction. Now it is time to remember that the ultimate goal of your business is to scale to multiples, because the more clients you have from different industry, the more diverse is your source of revenue. And remember to provide top quality products, top quality service, that you, because your reputation here is everything. So people spend things they trust and like. Log everything you do, especially in your business. Use the CRM. Remember to get business leads as much as possible, and remember to get business leads, build your reputation, and repeat. So build business leads, show them value, build up your reputation, and repeat. Okay, And when you come now to the section 4, again, I'm going to just to straightforward. I'm going to make just this fast as possible. But to mention is the key aspect. First, identify that data is something important and powerful. Also recognize the source of data, especially when you're conducting a research. The first party data, data that come from the company. Second party data, data that come from trust sources. Third party data, data that come from uh, aggregate sources. This is the least valuable. Also, it's important to remember to see things from different perspectives, because things are not black and white. Play devil advocates with your own research, as well as gather relevant information for that consulting projects. And also remember to take notes and keep records every source you obtain, as well as qualify the data that you're getting. And don't forget to circle back with the client. So this is something that I did from the e-commerce, uh, the e-commerce industry, okay, to understand what an sorry, to understand what an e-commerce is, as well as the different type of e-commerce and the actors involved, whether it's a government, consumers, and business, and how each other related, such as business to consumers, such as online retailers, subscription service, ordering food and delivery service, as well as digital marketplace or online travel and booking. When it comes to now business to business, we have the online marketplace, EDI, online portals, business to business payment solutions, as well as wholesale e-commerce. Now from the consumer to, which is something here, now from the consumer to business, we have freelance work, user-generated content, online survey, crowdfunding, as well as reverse auctions. And when it comes to the government to business, you have public procurement portals, tax filing and payments systems, licensing and permit applications, electronic and custom clearance, business registration for the government to consumers. Now, tax paying portals, payment of utility bills, passport applications, vehicle registration and driving licensing, as well as ordering birth and death certificate. And when it comes now to the consumer to government, you have things like online petitions, online donations, asking for license and permits, so for example, hunting permit or fishing licensing, payment of fines and fees. And also, I look at the competitor analysis of who the other players are in that industry, such as Amazon, Alibaba, Shopify, eBay, IKEA, right? And a keyword research that I conduct to understand what's going on in that industry. And what I lack is the up-to-date data, you know. So once I conduct that research, okay, it's also important, especially if you're gonna present that to a client, to do that in a visually engaging presentation, right? Because at the end of the day, the client wants to know how you came up with that conclusion, okay? And that is, well, yeah, how you came out with that conclusion, and that is you by showing them the meaningful patterns and yeah. So by showing them, you as a consultant, in a visual engaging presentation, the meaningful patterns with different aesthetics, charts, what is most likely to work today, and decide to if let the client to decide if they're gonna work with you, because you're after all not another just consulting that just do the bare minimum to get by. Very, very important here. Very, very, very important. So when it comes to create this uh, report, so first analyze your research notes and uh, yeah, analyze your research and notes. Put the most relevant information first. Use templates if you wanna, if you have already recurring clients to speed up that process. And remember to use charts and visualization because data visualization help us to make more informed decision. Uh, and for that, I look at the several graphs that we can use in our reports. So for example, like bar graph, pie chart, line graph, area chart, okay, line graph, area chart, bubble or scatter plots, bubble charts, heat maps, geomaps, pictographs, waterfall, as well as tables. Okay, and when it comes to now uh, communicate or use tools to leverage that, rely on tools like Canvas to generate reports or Statista, where now you can is use them as your source. Okay, also Google Trends and Google Charts and Google Sheets, your existing CRM analytics. So remember to be consistent, see others are formulating data, and make it easy to follow. Because when it comes to now present that, it's important to do that in an organized way. Use benchmark to compare your data, and don't lose your data after you present it, because this is something that will help you vastly, my friend, vastly. So now, when it comes to communicate out to present that, some communication tips for your presentation is to first break down complex topics, especially for people that don't hold a background on that field and you have to rely on a lot of industry mumbo jumbo. Just don't do that. If you have to, mention that and break down to make it simple and easy to digest, as well as show that you understand the goal, avoid any miscommunications, as well as identify your clients' work habits and communications. Remember to be a team player, send brief updates, okay? And when it comes now to build recurring clients, is use the A/B testing for consulting, where you have the A, the control, and B, and the treatment, which is something that comes allegedly from the scientific world. Okay, this A/B testing, the A, the control, and the B, the treatment, the optimized expected or the expected optimized version. And when it comes to do that, you can do as many tests as possible, but because our time is limited, right, as well as our research, so do one test at a time, test one variable, make minor change, as well as test that simultaneously and 50-50 or randomly, and decide on how important is to make this test before actually doing that. Remember to measure all of these tests over time, and the ultimate goal for A/B testing is to deliver the best value and also to secure long-term clients. So with that, okay, that'll be all for this video. Take care. Bye bye.